Welcome to happy2050.org. This is part one of our practical guide to talking with skeptics about the climate and energy crisis. What we've just established in our previous video is that global warming is real. So we're now moving on with the next big category of objections. How can we be sure that global warming is man-made? The objection is that the global warming we've measured over the 20th century is a natural phenomenon. Let's pause for a moment here and realize that if this were to be true, it would only make matters worse. Because here's what we know for sure. Human emissions increase the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and as we've just established, it will result in a temperature increase. So, if past temperature increase is due to a natural phenomenon, then for the future, we are up against natural variability and human emissions. There is evidence that points to the conclusion that the past increase is due to human activities, and for details on this aspect, you can go and check my blog at happy2050.org. The next legitimate question is to try and figure if the observed increase in greenhouse gases concentration is mainly due to human activities. The graph on the left represents the human footprint. With fossil fuel burning and deforestation, we emit CO2. Cattle farming, rice paddles, dump yards, all of this generate CH4. And the use of fertilizer induces nitrous oxide. But what's striking with the graph is how prevalent CO2 emissions are. So let's focus on CO2 with a graph on the right. Atmospheric CO2 is increasing faster and faster each year, and it does so at the same pace as fossil fuel burning increases. And we also observe that atmospheric oxygen decreases in corresponding quantities. So that's a pretty good hint. If you need more, we can also point out that before 1750, CO2 concentration in the air had remained stable for 10,000 years. Some people object that water vapor is the gas that generates the highest greenhouse effect, and that's true. What's also true is that human emissions of H2O are negligible, so you can pretty much take mankind out of this equation. What happens, though, is that with rain, nature regulates the concentration of H2O in the atmosphere, and it remains constant. So the warming effect of water is the naturally occurring one, the one which made life on Earth possible. At this point, we've either made our case or we haven't. And again, we'll go back to the people we haven't convinced yet later on in the guide. For now, let's assume we've made our point and move on to the third big category of objections. How bad can it really be to have a few additional degrees? For answers to this next objection, be sure to check at happy2050.org. See you next time.